The war started without warning. One night, Earth's sky turned blood red. People saw strange black ships, shaped like daggers, floating above cities. No one knew where they came from. Some said they were demons. Others whispered they were ancient. Vampires from the stars. Zane didn't care about stories. He was a soldier. Orders were simple: defend the cities, protect the people. But nothing prepared him for what happened near the mountain outpost. His unit was ambushed. Strange creatures with glowing red eyes, sharp teeth, and armor that moved like shadows attacked from nowhere. Zane tried to fight, but everything was too fast, too silent. His friends were taken. Some disappeared in black mist. Some screamed and then went quiet forever. Zane fired until his gun jammed. Then something hit him from behind. He blacked out. When he woke up, he was inside a dark ship. The walls were alive, pulsing like veins. Red lights blinked slowly. Chains wrapped around his arms and legs. He was hanging in a narrow metal cell alone. His chest ached. His neck burned. Then he saw her. She stood outside the cell, watching him, tall, graceful, and deadly. Her skin was pale like moonlight, her eyes glowed red, and her long black hair flowed like smoke. She wore dark armor that hugged her shape, decorated with sharp silver lines. Her presence was cold, but not cruel. There was something sad in her eyes. "You are awake," she said, voice soft like a whisper, but full of power. "Good." Zane pulled at the chains. "Let me go." "Who are you?" She walked closer, placing her gloved hand against the glass. "I am Saraxa. You were chosen. Your blood is strong." "Chosen for what?" She tilted her head, almost curious. "To create life. A new generation. You will help me survive." Zane stared at her. "You're a vampire?" She didn't smile. "Not like your stories. My kind were once rulers of many stars. We fed on light, not just blood. But our enemies wiped out our worlds. Now we hide, we steal, we survive." Zane looked into her eyes. They weren't just glowing. They were tired, old, lonely. "I'm not going to help you," he said. She lowered her hand. "You already are." Suddenly, the ship shook. Alarms blared. A loud voice spoke in a strange alien language. Saraxa turned sharply. She looked toward the ceiling like she could see through it. "They found us," she whispered. Zane frowned. "Who?" Saraxa opened the cell door with a wave of her hand. The chains dropped. "Your people, humans. They attack our ships now." "Too late for most of us." Zane stood up, ready to fight, but she didn't move to hurt him. In fact, she stepped back. "I don't want to fight anymore," she said. "I want to escape, but I can't do it alone. You kidnapped me." I had no choice. Zane didn't trust her. But something in her voice sounded honest, not like a monster. More like a prisoner, just like him. He looked around. Red lights flashed faster. Explosions echoed through the ship. Screams in the distance. Something bad was coming. "You help me escape," she said, "and I'll help you survive. I swear it." Zane didn't answer. His heart raced. Should he trust a vampire? An alien who kidnapped him? But then he remembered his friends. All gone. He remembered the pain, the silence, and he looked at her, this strange, deadly girl with sad eyes and ancient blood, and he saw something unexpected. Hope. He took a deep breath. "Fine," he said, "but if you try anything—" "I won't," she said softly. Another explosion rocked the ship. The lights died. Everything turned dark except her eyes, glowing brighter in the shadows. They ran. The hallway was filled with smoke and flickering red lights. Sparks fell from the ceiling. Zane followed Saraxa as fast as he could. Her movements were smooth and quiet, like a shadow gliding through chaos. Behind them, the sound of metal twisting and alien voices grew louder. "Where are we going?" Zane shouted. Saraxa didn't look back. "Escape pod. If we're lucky, one still works." He caught up to her. "And if we're not lucky?" She paused for a moment, her red eyes glowing in the dim light. "Then we die like the others." Zane didn't like that answer, but he kept running. They turned a corner and stopped. A group of vampire soldiers blocked the path. They looked like Saraxa, but more beast-like. Their armor was darker, and their mouths were full of sharp teeth. One of them stepped forward. "You betray your kind, Saraxa," he hissed. Saraxa raised her hand. "He is not just a human. He is strong. His DNA could save us." The soldier snarled. "We don't need saving. We need obedience. The council gave you orders. Take the spawn or be destroyed." Zane tightened his fists. "I'm not a lab rat." The soldier laughed. "Your food, nothing more." Before anyone could move, Saraxa shot forward. Her claws slashed the soldier's throat. He dropped instantly. The others attacked, but Saraxa moved like a storm. Fast, silent, deadly. Zane ducked as one soldier rushed him. He picked up a broken pipe and slammed it into the attacker's face. Blood splashed across the wall. He didn't stop swinging until the vampire fell. Saraxa stood over the last enemy, breathing hard. Her black armor was stained with blood. Her hands trembled, but she didn't cry. Zane looked at her. "You didn't have to protect me." "Yes," she said. "I did." They ran again. More alarms echoed. The ship was falling apart. Finally, they reached a round room. In the center was a glowing silver pod. "There's only one," Zane said. Saraxa nodded. "You'll take it. What about you?" She stepped back. "My people will not let me go. If I escape, they'll hunt us both. But if I stay... maybe I can cover your launch." Zane grabbed her arm. "No, you come with me, or I stay." She stared at him for a long moment. "Why? You stole me. But you saved me too. That means something." She looked down, then back up. Her voice was soft. "Then we go together." The pod opened. They climbed in. The glass closed. Zane sat beside her, heart pounding. The ship shook harder. The launch countdown began in a strange alien language. 10, 9, 8. As they waited, Saraxa looked at him. "If we survive this, the humans will hate me." "They'll hate you until they know you," Zane replied. She smiled, just a little. It was the first real smile he saw from her. 3, 2, 1. The pod blasted off. Fire roared below them. The vampire ship exploded. Behind, Zane closed his eyes as the stars lit up the window. They were flying into unknown space. Together. Asterisk. The escape pod drifted through space. Inside, it was quiet. Too quiet. Zane sat across from Saraxa. Her eyes were closed, her arms crossed. She looked calm, but he knew better. Her face was pale, even for her kind. And she hadn't spoken since the launch. He checked the control screen. No signal, no food. No idea where they were going. How long until someone finds us? Zane asked. Saraxa opened her eyes slowly. Maybe days, maybe never. Zane frowned. "That's not helpful." "I told you the truth," she replied. He leaned back. "You said your kind were almost gone. How many are left?" She looked away. "Not many, and now, after today, even fewer." Zane was silent. Then he asked, "Why me?" Saraxa met his gaze. "Your blood is rare, strong. It reacts with ours in a strange way. My people believed it could restart our line. Create hybrids. Children who could walk in sunlight. Feed without killing. Live without hiding." Zane shook his head. That sounds like a lot of pressure for one guy. Saraxa didn't laugh. She looked down at her hands. I didn't want this life either. I was born after the fall, raised in a lab, trained to obey, to take what we need. But you didn't. No, she said quietly. I chose not to. He watched her carefully. She looked strong but tired, like someone who had been fighting inside for years. Suddenly, a loud beep echoed through the pod. Saraxa jumped up. Signal detected. Zane rushed to the screen. A red dot blinked. Then a voice came through, human language. This is Earth Recon Ship 09. We've detected a foreign pod. Respond if you're alive. Zane slammed the button. This is Sergeant Zane Carter. I'm alive and I'm not alone. Silence. Then, Zane, you're alive? How? Where have you been? No time, Zane said. We need pickup. Now? The voice paused. Copy that. Lock on beacon. ETA. 30 minutes. Saraxa stepped back. You didn't tell them about me. They didn't ask. She narrowed her eyes. You think they'll let me live? I don't know, Zane said, but I'll try. She nodded slowly. Thank you. 30 minutes passed like hours. When the Earth ship finally appeared, it looked like a giant armored hawk in the dark sky. The pod was pulled inside. The door hissed open. Bright lights blinded them. Soldiers pointed guns at both of them. Zane stepped in front of Saraxa. Wait, she saved me. She helped me escape. One of the officers barked. Step away from the alien. She's not the enemy. They grabbed him. Saraxa didn't move. Her eyes glowed, but she didn't fight. Zane shouted, She's not like the others. But the soldiers weren't listening. Saraxa looked at him one last time as they pulled her away. I'll be okay, she said calmly. Do what you must. The doors closed. Zane stood there, breathing hard, fists clenched. He had escaped. But now the real fight was just beginning. Zane sat in the cold room. It had no windows. Just a metal table, 2 chairs, and a bright light above. His hands were cuffed. His chest ached from anger, not injury. Across from him sat Colonel Reeve, a tall man with a sharp jaw and eyes that showed no emotion. We need to understand something, the colonel said. You were taken by alien forces. You returned with one of them. Why? Zane's voice was calm. She saved me. She also kidnapped you first. Zane nodded. Yes, but she also saved my life, twice. She turned against her own people. Reeve leaned forward. She's a vampire, Zane. You expect me to believe she's friendly? She didn't bite me. She didn't kill anyone who didn't try. To kill us first. Reeve crossed his arms. And you think that makes her safe? Zane looked him in the eye. She's not a monster. She made a choice. She wants peace. Reeve didn't speak. He simply stood up and walked to the door. Where? Is she now? Zane asked. The colonel paused. In a secure underground facility. No light, no food, no weapons. Zane's voice grew louder. You're treating her like an animal. Reeve didn't turn. Because that's what she is. The door closed. Behind him, deep underground, Saraxa sat alone in a dark glass cell. Bright white lights above burned her skin slightly, but she didn't flinch. Her hands were chained to the wall, even though she hadn't resisted. 2 guards watched her from behind thick glass. They whispered and stared. One of them called her a demon. The other said she should be studied, not fed. She heard every word. Her eyes remained closed. Her breathing was calm. But inside, her heart was cold. They didn't understand her. They feared her. And now she was alone again. Later that night, Zane was allowed to shower, eat, and rest, but he didn't. He paced the room like a wild animal. He had already made his choice. He didn't just want to thank her. He wanted to protect her. No matter what. When the night guard changed, Zane made his move. He waited near the exit, spoke calmly to the younger soldier, and then quick and clean knocked him out cold. He took the keycard and sprinted into the elevator. The underground levels were restricted, but he had seen the floor number earlier, sub-level 7. The doors opened. The lights were red and dim. The air felt heavy. He moved silently, avoiding the cameras. Finally, he reached the holding cell. She was there. Eyes closed, still, pale, like a statue in a prison. "Saraxa," he whispered, her eyes opened slowly. "Zane, I'm getting you out. You'll be punished." "I don't care." He stepped into the control room, smashed the lock panel, and the glass wall slid open. Saraxa stood up but didn't run. "I don't want to escape like a thief," she said. "You're not a thief. You're a survivor." The alarms began to ring. Footsteps echoed from both ends of the hall. Zane grabbed her hand. "We run, now." This time, she didn't hesitate. They ran together, not just from soldiers, but from a world not ready to believe her. Asterisk, they ran through the night. Zane and Saraxa moved between tall buildings and dark alleys. The city lights hurt her eyes, so Zane found her a hooded jacket and dark glasses from a trash bin. It wasn't perfect, but it helped her blend in. The military was everywhere. Drones scanned the streets. Posters showed Zane's face. Wanted for aiding an alien. A reward was offered. People watched each other. Fear filled the city. They couldn't stay long. Zane led her to an abandoned warehouse near the edge of town. He remembered it from his old patrol days. Broken windows, no power, but dry and hidden. "This place will be safe for now," he said. Saraxa sat on the floor, back against the wall. "Why do you risk so much for me?" Zane looked at her, breathing hard. "Because you risked everything for me." She turned her head. "You're not like the others." He smiled. "Neither are you." That night, Zane lit a small fire inside a metal barrel. He found canned food and gave her a warm drink. She didn't eat much, but she looked calmer. Outside, the wind howled. Inside, the silence between them felt warm. Then Saraxa spoke. "There's something I didn't tell you." Zane leaned closer. "What is it?" She stared into the fire. "Your blood? It reacted with mine. I don't know how, but it changed something in me." "Changed how?" "I don't feel the hunger. I don't feel the pain from light as much. I feel stronger and more human." Zane blinked. "So you're saying my blood made you better?" "Yes, but not just physically. Something inside me is different, like I'm not cursed anymore." Zane sat back slowly, stunned. Then, "Maybe we were meant to meet." She gave a small smile. "Maybe." The next morning they were found. A group of armed men broke through the doors, not soldiers, hunters. Private men looking for reward money. Mercenaries with guns and no patience. "There she is!" One of them shouted. "Get the bloodsucker!" Saraxa stood quickly, her hands raised. "Don't hurt him." Zane stepped in front of her. "She's not your enemy." A shot fired barely missed his head. Saraxa moved like lightning. She leapt across the room, knocked two of them down, and slammed the third into a wall. But another one came from behind. Zane fought him off with a metal pipe, but took a hard hit to his ribs. He fell to the floor, gasping. One of the hunters raised a gun to Saraxa's head. "Don't!" Zane yelled, too late. A bang echoed, but she didn't fall. She stood still, eyes glowing. The bullet had stopped inches from her, frozen in mid-air. Zane blinked. "What the?" Saraxa turned slowly. Her voice was deeper. "Strange. Something inside me is awakening." The hunters screamed. They ran out. She dropped the bullet to the floor. It clinked like a tiny bell. Zane stood, still catching his breath. What just happened? Saraxa looked at him, her eyes no longer fully red but glowing gold. I think, she said, your blood didn't just change me. He stepped closer. Then what did it do? She touched her chest. It may have awakened something ancient. Something hidden in my kind for thousands of years. Outside, more people were coming. They didn't have much time. Whatever it is, Zane said, we face it together. Saraxa nodded. Together. And then they disappeared into the mist. Days passed. Zane and Saraxa traveled far through ruined towns, dead forests, and across quiet rivers. They hid during the day and moved at night. News spread quickly. The world knew about the vampire girl. Some called her a monster. Others began to ask questions. Rumors started of a vampire who saved a soldier. Of a human who stopped running and stood beside her. Zane listened to radios. Some scientists wanted her captured. Some wanted her killed. But one voice was different. It came from a woman named Dr. Alara, a peaceful researcher working with the Earth Defense Council. If this vampire shows signs of peace and transformation, she said on the radio, we must not respond with violence. We must understand the science. She might not be the end of us, but a beginning. Zane knew it was time. They couldn't hide forever. One night, they reached a communication tower. Zane climbed to the top and sent out a wide broadcast. This is Sergeant Zane Carter. I'm alive. I'm with Saraxa the alien vampire. She saved me. I trust her. And I believe something is changing inside her. I'm asking for peace. Not for her sake, but for ours. They waited. Silence. Then dash an answer. It wasn't a soldier's voice. It was Dr. Alara. Come to Haven Base. No weapons. No soldiers. I'll be waiting. Haven Base wasn't large. Just a clean science center surrounded by trees. No cameras. No guards. Just Dr. Alara and a few brave scientists. Zane and Saraxa entered quietly. Saraxa's hands were raised, but no one aimed a weapon at her. Dr. Alara stepped forward. Welcome. Saraxa looked unsure. You're not afraid? Alara smiled. I'm curious. They took blood samples, scans, tests, and what they found changed everything. Saraxa's body was no longer fully vampire. Her cells had changed, mutated. The hunger was gone. The weakness to light fading. She was becoming something new, a hybrid, and Zane's DNA had triggered it. Alara called it evolution through compassion. Weeks passed. Saraxa stayed at the lab. She spoke to doctors, scientists, even a few world leaders. Zane stayed by her side. The world watched. Then something happened no one expected. More vampire ships arrived. Not to attack, but to talk. They had heard the story. They had seen the signal. And they were tired of hiding too. For the first time in history, peace talks began. Months later, Zane stood outside a new Earth Vampire Research Center. Behind him, flags of both species waved in the wind. Children, both human and hybrid, played in the fields. Saraxa walked beside him, now dressed not in armor, but in simple white clothing. Her eyes still glowed, but with peace. You did it, she said softly. No, Zane replied. We did. She took his hand gently. He smiled. Guess you didn't need me just to make spawn after all. She laughed a real laugh, warm and full of light. No, she said. I needed you to remind me what it meant to be alive. Together, they looked up at the sky where once warships flew. Now flew carriers of science, hope, and peace. The war was over. A new age had begun.